The What's Happening Hoke show is filmed before a live audience and is sponsored by the Rock of Hoke, Rockfish Motor Speedway. We're back and we're talking to Alpha K9, Amber Kirby. Amber, talk to me about the cost involved.
So currently right now, the national average for a service dog is ranging anywhere between $9,000 and $25,000.
Wow.
We don't want to do that to people.
No, because I mean, it'll never happen. That's a high cost involved for a trained service dog, and it's immediate needs. So.
Some organizations are able to make it happen because they're larger, they've been around for more years, they're getting a lot of donations, they have corporate sponsors, and they're able to do that. We're a smaller organization, obviously, having the one location in California, myself being out here now. So what we do is we provide the dogs at cost.
Okay, so I'm a veteran at Fort Bragg, identified as needing a service dog. What's the process?
The first step I would do is I would tell you to go on our website, which is www.alphacanine.org. And across the top, there's a bar that says Need a Service Dog.
Okay.
It'll bring you to the application. There's a PDF form on there. Fill out the PDF form. You can either type it in or you can print it and handwrite it, and then you can fax it, scan it, email it, or mail it back to our office in Sacramento.
Or just literally bring it to you?
Or you can bring it to me and I still would need to forward it to Sacramento.
Gotcha. So now, you take dogs from, when you talk donations, it's not just money, you take donations from shelters as well?
We take donations of animals as well.
So it's not a particular breed that you're looking for? It's not that Labrador Retriever?
We're looking for certain personality and temperament.
Okay.
So obviously we're never going to use a dog that's ever been trained to attack anyone,
Right.
because that violates the law, the ADA. We don't want a dog that's ever bit another person or another animal that's been, documented.
Right.
Sometimes when you're dealing with a shelter dog, you're not going to know its history.
Right.
But that's why we take them in. We have an evaluation period. We do the temperament testing to determine if it has any of those behaviors.
Now, how long is the evaluation period if someone donates a dog to you?
We take the dog in for a week. The first week that the dog is in our kennel in California. Currently, we don't have one here in North Carolina. We can talk about that more in a moment. So we take it in for about a week, and we allow it to get acclimated to the environment of being in the kennel. Especially when you're talking about a dog that's coming from somebody's home.
Right.
It's not used to being around 16, 15 other dogs and the constant barking. So it can be very stressful. So we take them in, we put them into a quarantine. That way we're able to assess if there's any additional health issues that the owner might not have been aware of.
Right.
We can kind of get a feel for how it interacts with being fed, taking to and from its kennel for walks, why we need to clean, and for exercise. And then after it's been there for about a week, we then start to take it out to do more of the assessments for the training.
Right. So then your instincts, you're going to tap into different shelters around here.
That's
I know Rayford has a no-kill shelter.
Yes.
I think one of the ones, Safe Haven, out here in Rayford. So then the process, they donate the dog, you evaluate it, get it ready, and then once the dog has passed all its tests, you begin the training.
We'll begin the training.
Now, how long is the training going to take?
The training can last anywhere between 90 to 180 days.
Okay.
It's completely contingent upon the dog.
Okay.
In regards to people, some dogs learn faster and slower than others, as some people learn faster and slower than others.
So we're talking about basically a 6-month period to get it to the veteran. What cost involved would the veteran have to pay? What's the total amount? I guess the bottom line.
Our goal is to provide our dogs to our clients, whether they're veterans, the law enforcement, children, whatever background they are. Our goal is to provide them for free. Now,
Okay.
the fact that we're a nonprofit and we rely on donations and sponsorships, it's not always the case. I can't promise you something that I don't have if
Right.
we're not receiving those funds.
But it may be at a prorated cost or free.
We try to
Ideally free first. But
Ideally free, but we try to keep the price under $5,000.
Gotcha. Which is cheaper than what's national was. So now, you get the dog to the veteran. Do you go by, once you deliver, talk to me about the delivery of the dog to the veteran. Do you go back and check in with the veteran? Or
They come to us for training.
Okay.
So for example,
So you do individual training with the dog, Evaluation, individual training for the dog, and then the veteran actually comes to you and trains with the dog as well? Okay.
So for our location here in Fayetteville, right now we don't have one. Since I've just returned back here in the last couple of months, I'm operating off my dining room table, so bear with me. All great things start somewhere. But our location in California, how it works is a person can come in with their dog to have it evaluated and say, hey, I would like my dog trained for PTSD service work. And so one of our trainers will do a free evaluation. And then if they choose, because sometimes we do have clients that don't want charity. They want to pay for their training themselves.
Right.
It's about $1,500, and that's for basic obedience, the AKC Canine Good Citizen, and for the service dog training. And it, as I said, it lasts right around about 6 months.
Okay.
So the first thing we do is we put the dog into the basic obedience program, which is roughly 5 to 6 weeks. We teach it all the basics of sit down and a solid recall. So that way, when you tell your dog to come the first time, it actually does.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take you 3 or 4 times.
I'm gone.
Yeah. So, and then from there, we enter it, depending on the age, we will then enter it in the service dog program. The dogs do have to be 1 year of age to get into the
I
service
was
dog
going to ask
program.
you, 1 year
Yeah.
at the minimum. What's the oldest dog?
The oldest, I try to go with right around 3 years old.
Okay.
Because the dogs are an investment.
Right.
You know, we want you to get the most time with your animal as possible.
Gotcha.
The last thing I would want is somebody to bring a 6-year-old dog in, train it, and then
Right.
2 years later it passes
Dog's
away.
wet, yeah.
That would be the worst case scenario, and that's not our goal.
So youngest 1 year, oldest 3 to 4.
I always try to stay around 3 as the
3
absolute
years.
outside.
Okay.
But we bring the dogs in as early as 4 months for the basic obedience. Now, with that being said, just because the dog comes in at 4 months for basic obedience, doesn't mean that it's going to be guaranteed to get into the service dog program.
Right.
Because once that dog hits that 1 year mark, any dog owner will tell you there's a personality change that
Oh,
starts
yes.
to happen.
Yes.
You know, that full cognitive ability has been developed, that full personality has bloomed, and there's that puppy has started to go away, and you've got that teenage angst.
Right. The tween.
tween years.
But in the dog, yeah.
So, and that's where we want to start doing the service dog work, because you have that full attention.
Okay. Obviously, there's a lot of, this is a gateway for puppies or unwanted pets. A lot of
Yes.
people drop off the shelters every day. This is another avenue for them to find a solid home.
Yeah.
Now, but you recommend that people don't just show up at your doorstep and drop
No.
a dog off like a baby.
No.
So go to the shelter first.
Go to
But
the
can they, if they're saying, hey, I just can't take care of this puppy, I'm taking him to the shelter, but I'd like him to be earmarked for alpha canine, is that
They could
possible?
probably do that, but again, like I said, right now with us not having a facility, I have no place to keep dogs.
Okay.
So my goal, as I said, we were going to go into it, was through sponsorships and donations, I'm hoping that
You
within the
said-
next month or so,
That you'll be ready.
I'm going to open a small office location just to be able to start doing dog training.
Okay.
Now, on the side, outside of the PTSD service dogs, how I make my income, because all of those proceeds stay within the nonprofit, I'm also an AKC evaluator, so I do the group classes like the Canine Good Citizen, the Urban Canine, Puppy Star. I do basic obedience, advanced obedience, and behavior modifications.
So you offer that as a service as well,
I
not
offer
just for
that as
service
well.
dogs,
Yeah.
but if you just got a dog and you want dog training,
Yeah.
you can go to alpha
You can
canine.
come to us for that as well, at both locations.
Great.
Well,
Now, what's the cost involved? I just want to get my dog obedience training. AKC certified, is it?
Well, the basic obedience is separate from the AKC
Okay.
because the AKC has a higher level of expectation and tasks. There's things that need to be done that we would need a solid foundation to be able to get into from there. So a basic obedience class with us right now ranges about $250 for the
Okay.
6-week program.
6 weeks, okay.
And so what you get with that is you come in once a week, meet with me. I'm going to teach you the down, sit, and solid recall. And
So 3 commands, 3 basic.
you're getting the 3 basic commands, and throughout the time, you're training with your dog.
Okay.
So we're not doing a board and train. because I encourage owners to be involved with the training, because I can take your dog and train your dog all day long, but you live with your dog.
You one's got to live
So
with it.
if I teach your dog this language and you don't know how to speak that language, you're going to have constant chaos at your house. So this is a training program that works for both you and the dog. We teach it in such a basic, simple, easy to understand way that it's clear to both you and the dog what the expectations are. Because we as human beings, we naturally overcomplicate everything.
Yeah.
And so we do it in such a way that your kids are going to understand it, your spouse is going to understand it, and everybody's on the same sheet of music.
One last question. I need to go back real quick. With the dogs, we talked about how old a dog can be, 1 to 3 years. Is there a different breed, specific breed? I mean, how small, how tall? Is there
We prefer larger dogs for the PTSD program.
the large, we're talking medium-sized Shepherd, Lab mix,
I personally,
50, 60 pounds? I mean,
I have a German Pinscher. You saw him. I brought Zero out for training or for the event that one day. He's probably about the smallest that I would say we would go for a service dog.
he's around what, 30 pounds?
He's about 30 pounds.
30 pounds.
And even then, it's kind of pushing it that he might be a little too small. And I make the analogy that I think of service dogs like motorcycles. When you're on the highway, you're not always going to see them in your blind spots. So when an individual is out in public with their service dogs, those tinier ones tend to not be seen. And especially with one of the trained tasks for a service dog for PTSD is to provide a barrier, and that's to go and go sit behind you to give you that bubble, especially in a crowd, if you're having an anxiety or anger moment. And so if you have a smaller dog, people are going to typically blow that off and still get too close or come up and want to pet your dog. Whereas a little bit of a larger dog, and by no means am I trying to imply that the dog is supposed to be intimidating, because that's not, again, dogs under the ADA should not growl, bark, nip, lunge, bite in any way, shape. The dog should not intimidate anyone. But our goal and what we want is that dog to have that presence, so that way the people are aware that it's there and they know to stay back.
Amber Kirby, Alpha K9. Tell everybody once again how to get in touch with you.
There's a few different ways to get a hold of us. As I said, our website is www.alphacanine.org. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/alphacanine. That will take you to the California office. If you go to facebook.com/alphacaninenc, that'll take you to the location here. The phone number for our California office is 916-400-4337, and the phone number for our office here, or my dining room table, is 919-888-3870.
Thank you, Amber.